116th Hotline.
It's Sadie.
It's Valerie.
And this is Sutana. And welcome back to 116th Hotline. If this is your first time here, hello. If this is not your first time here, welcome back.
Late night show.
Period. How's everybody doing? How are we doing out there?
You need to put cricket sounds in the back.
Cricket.
Okay, of course, starting with Sadie. Okay, so I would say maybe the last time we talked it was a 7. So I think right now I'm probably still at a 7. I'm still at a 7. Just same old, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a little excited for the holidays coming up, but then other than that, I'm at a 7-ish. It might turn into an 8 because, like I said, my baby nephew is like any day now. Well, not any day, maybe in the next few weeks. Any week. Yeah.
You don't want it to be any day because it's too soon.
It's a little too soon, but I am so excited for that. So
I love that.
Yeah, that's me. Val?
I would probably say I'm at like a 6-ish right now. I think mainly also just because the weather too kind of adds on to me, but
understandable.
Seasonal depression.
Yes. Sienna?
I'm honestly at like a 8.
I thought you were gonna say like 11.
I'm like really good, but I don't want to say 9. Like I'm at a good 8. You know, like life is good, as good as it can be. So yeah, I mean, like everything's good so far.
Your skin looks so freaking good, dude.
I was telling her that like she doesn't have like as much texture.
I was just telling her that earlier.
Yeah.
But
So if you want to know more about my skin journey, make sure you follow me at Satana Jong on all platforms. Thank you.
She has a whole story about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you put my makeup on often or not really?
Not really.
You don't, huh?
Like today's probably really rare. I mean, I look good though, right? Yeah.
So we are here to talk about a few of our listeners' request.
Listeners'
request, because there's multiple. But you know the funny thing is, okay, I don't know if they want me. Should I include this in there?
Why not?
Whatever. It's not.
Like
it's not
disclosing them.
Disclosing. Okay. Yeah. Disclosing.
I mean, you don't have to say their name.
Yeah.
Just
I'm not gonna say the name. I just thought it was funny because we had specifically 3 listeners that asked us questions that were kind of similar, if I remember correctly, from the one that you saw. But in the other 2 that I saw were from male. Okay, these are male men, and they were asking something along with.
So what you're saying is we got male listeners.
Period.
Thank you.
As you know, the podcast, it's a community. It's not just women.
Exactly.
We always say it's for everybody. It's a safe space for all.
Everybody.
And this is proof of that.
And I love that these listeners, they took
Trust
the opportunity to ask us. I mean, to put
Take
us
the
in request.
opportunity, trust us, and want our opinion. How about
Yeah, I
that?
appreciate that. That's respect.
How about it?
How about it? So that's
Yeah.
they're so ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ari.
Wait, it's Blackiana. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think it's Ariana,
black
but then
version
whenever
of
she was
Ariana.
like doing the whole Blackson thing.
They were like, she can be every shade. She can be Glinda Ariana.
Hey.
Or she could be, yeah.
Love her.
Yes.
Love her, hate her. Anyway, let's get to it. Okay.
Look at the question. I love her.
Yes,
leave her alone.
I have it right here.
Love her. Leave her alone. Period. We love you, Cassie.
Love Cassie.
Okay, so
Let's start with yours. Yeah.
okay. So surprisingly, like Sadie said, some of our the listeners that requested for us to touch on it were males.
Okay.
Which is fine. We are for the theys, them,
love that.
there's, girls, females,
They,
males,
them.
non-binary.
We love
We're there for everybody.
Every.
So this person says, do women expect men to pay on the first dates? That's the first thing. So let's touch on that.
Okay.
Do women expect men to pay on the first dates? Now, these are just our thoughts and opinions. Of course, we're going to start off with Sadie. So,
And everybody can have their own thoughts and opinions.
Yes.
But these are ours.
do women expect? Okay, let's just say first. Let's say yes or no, and then
Okay.
do women expect men to pay on the first dates?
What do you think?
Yes.
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 Ooh. Okay. But then
Triple threat.
I'm thinking about the context as in like me or as just women in general.
Okay, no, we answered women in general. Now just say like you.
Okay. For me now, yes.
Can you include it in like your answer?
Oh, like why?
Yeah. Okay, I'll say. So for me, yes. I think if a man is trying to pursue a woman, court her.
I was gonna say courting
her, get her. It's like you want to go out of your way to try and like go get her. So why wouldn't you pay for the date? It's like you're doing all this, and then at the end of the date, you're like, actually, put it on your bill. She'll be like, what the fuck?
Or like if he's like, let's split it.
Well, yeah. What if she's like, you wanted to go on a date with me, but then you're making me pay for this date? I mean, let's say even if the girl did want to go on a date, I mean, that's just
what is chivalry?
Chivalry definitely is dead if the man is. And also, let me just give a little backstory on my experience.
You say it.
Let's hear it, sis.
There's this guy I used to talk to, and we went on a date, right? It was kind of technically considered like my first official ever date that I've ever been on my whole entire life.
Okay.
And the date was cool. Like I don't think I even got anything to eat. I think I just got a drink because I had eaten already, and I thought it was a fun date. Months down the line, we got into an argument about something, and he's like, "You never even said thank you for me paying for that
for the drink."
And I'm like, for my $12 mimosa.
Oh no, honey.
And then he's like, you don't know how to be grateful, and you don't even know how to say thank you. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, oh my god,
thank you next.
If you didn't want to do it, then you shouldn't have done it.
Period.
That part.
It's like it's almost like he did it just to get something out of it, like for you to.
I want you to do it because you want to do it,
not because
And also that falls into if you don't want to do it, then don't take her on the date.
That part.
Say a little louder for the ones in the bag.
Sudiana?
No, say a little louder for the ones in the bag.
I forgot what I said already. If you didn't want to do it, you shouldn't be taking her on a date. Period. Sultana?
I thought we were going to go to Sadie.
No, she's trying to figure out her thoughts still. Or did you figure it out?
About like why I think they should. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll go. Okay. So pretty much, I think I agree with Val. I mean, I've never had that situation. Fortunately, but
fortunately or unfortunately,
fortunately. Well, I guess fortunately, yeah. But then, I think that if you were the one to ask a girl on a date, then yes, you should rightfully so pay for the dinner or drinks or whatever it may be. I just think that I don't know, maybe that's the social norms and we're used to that, who knows. But I will have to say, just to play devil's avocado, I will have to say that, let's say if it were to be the girl asking the guy to go out, like me personally, like if in the past I've done something similar where we've gone to go, I don't want to say bowling or something, and I offer to, okay, so here's the catch though, I offer to pay just to see what he would say. This little dummy goes, okay. So that was the test.
And he failed.
So I was like,
was that Brian?
No. Okay. No, it was not Brian. But this was like way before Brian. Okay. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so I was like, that's kind of, I don't know. It kind of gave me the ick a little bit, but at the same time,
you failed the test.
I was just trying to see what his reaction would be. Yeah. But at the same time, obviously, I didn't mind. Anyway because I did ask him first, just to go hang out, whatever and whatnot. And he drove like quite a way to come to get here too. So just me being me. And so I just thought that was kind of weird. Like I don't know. I mean, call me double standard, whatever, like contradicting, whatever. But that's how I felt at the moment. You know what I mean?
I think it's also like our generation. Like we grew up in like we want that '90s R&B love. Yes. Like we want our man to hold us and guide us, and
we want them to
being like the provider, but also not being like overbearing.
Yes, exactly. It's complicated, but hey, I mean, it is what it is.
Like it's complicated, but to the right partner, it won't be.
Shout out to my mans.
Corvette.
What? Okay, Satana, your turn.
I say yes. A man definitely should pay on the first date because that is just manhood. If you're trying to be a man should always pay. And if the girl offers to split it or to pay, like Sadie's example, like that's just a test. Like
especially, mind you, we're speaking of first date.
Why? I don't know. To me, it just makes sense in my head. Like, especially, I think it's the way we grew up. Like, yes, a man should always
pay for the first date.
Definitely pay for the first date.
Keyword first date. Now,
And just because you pay for the first date, don't be expecting no punani.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's
paying for the first date does not mean that you get access to the no square. Okay.
no square. True. So you gotta have a 30-day,
I don't know about 30 days.
She's She said 30 days is a little too long for me, babe. Maybe
for me, 24 hours.
Hell to the nah.
Definitely not the first date though, but maybe 24 hours later, maybe.
I just think now, like, if we want to talk into like, you know, deeper context, like for example, if it's been a multiple dates already, then even if the girl offers and you feel comfortable, then yeah, sure, cool, whatever. If that's your dynamic and it works, right? So because for example, my relationship with Brian, like we like take turns, or we split or whatever. Now, I mean, 4 years
that's
later,
because
you know
now though, like later down the line, when you
Yeah.
guys get comfortable with each
Right,
other,
right.
and then you guys start to understand each other's finances and stuff like that.
Yes.
Then yeah. But I
the
definitely
first
think
date-
if you're
first
trying to
date-
court, then
Courting.
courting. If you're trying to court, then court.
Yes.
Or if you're trying to take her out on a first date, well, I guess to get punani would be considered courting, right? Like you're trying to get something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're trying to get
something in return.
Get them. You're trying to look good for them.
Definitely.
You're trying to get some points, right? So you
It
should.
definitely is gonna be more than a $30 steak though.
Say $5 dinner. If I start, no, $5.
Happy hour, bitch.
Oh my God.
I meant if I started in a $5 heck no.
Okay, what's the second part?
So the next part to this question is, how do you tell them you don't want to go on another date if it didn't go good?
Just in general.
That's just
Okay.
what it says.
How do you tell them if you don't want to go on another date? Okay, then younger Sadie would have just like started ghosting you.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. But then older Sadie now, adult Sadie will probably just be straight up and say, hey, you know, we didn't really vibe, and respectfully, I'm just going to, you know, do my own thing and just be straight up.
Very mature.
Mature?
Very mature. Okay, Val, what about you?
Why are you freaking laughing?
Because she's like, I definitely would not do that.
No, because
She
I'm
gonna
thinking about something.
Tell us.
Okay, if you can relate, then
But
yeah, sure.
I think, from a woman's perspective, I think, and men, honestly, I think if you're not feeling it, just be honest. Just say like you're not
Period.
feeling it. Like, hey, I enjoyed our time, but I don't think I see us like I don't think we're compatible, or just be like I don't think like you know I don't want to pursue this, and I just don't give false hope is what I'm
Yes.
saying. Don't lead the other person on if you're not feeling it, because
We're all adults.
why would you do that?
Yeah.
You want to know my take?
Yeah.
So you didn't enjoy the date, right? But I think you have to go in thinking like, if you didn't enjoy the date and you don't want to go on a second date, just be honest, like Val said. But then also, I think if you're just trying to get out there and like, you know, do adult things, freaky deaky, like, why not? Like, I think maybe you have to ask, like, is this a serious thing, or am I just dating to date?
Like, what are the intentions of this
Yes.
going out dating type of thing? Okay, so there's
Yes.
like different contexts in that.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, depending on what the outcome you want, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I'm
the
saying
situation.
this says if it didn't go good though. If the date didn't go good, then just tell them
honest.
you didn't go good.
Right.
But if you're having fun going on these dates just because that's what you want to do, then go for it by all means.
I think definitely. Is this person an adult? Like,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, like older. Well, I mean, like our age.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I think if you're definitely our age, like early 30s, almost like late 20s, I would definitely say you're an adult now. Just be open and honest, and don't waste someone else's time, and don't waste your time. If you lie and you literally go on a date just to go on a date and just to waste both of your time. It's literally, that's stupid. That's so dumb. And
or you can just be honest from the beginning, like you're just casually dating right now. You're not looking for
Yes.
something serious.
or just
Be
for
casual.
fun. Like, start with that
Be
context.
casual about it. Yeah, I think communication goes a long way. And as adults, you know, you can just communicate that respectfully, you know, in a very, very respectful way. And if the other person takes it wrong and they get butthurt, then oh well, you know.
And I think I think you should say what Sadie said in the way of, I don't think it's going to work out. It
Right.
didn't work out. The vibe isn't
the
there.
vibes are not vibing.
And I think we're just better off as friends, or I don't see us in anything more than just friends going forward. Something simple.
I think it's like, now that we're saying this out loud, like if I were to be in the situation right now, I understand where this person is coming from. Maybe it was a situation where like you don't know how to approach it. Like, how do you approach this type of situation? Like, you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings, or if it's awkward, or like whatever, you know. But I think sometimes we just tend to overcomplicate things.
Yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
just like, you know, just keep it
simple,
simple,
yeah.
casual, and move along. Especially if you really don't see anything with this other person.
I also think you can approach it in a way of saying it in a nice way instead of a negative.
Right.
Like, I literally didn't enjoy it. Like, instead of saying it that way, say it in a nice way. Like, maybe we're just not, I don't see us more than friends going forward.
Yes.
Something simple, straight to the point.
Yeah,
Because I feel like when you overcomplicate it, that's when it starts
Yeah,
sounding
when you
like,
beat around the bush, you get lost.
Yes,
So just
exactly.
cut right to it.
You might even confuse the other person even
yeah, they're
more
like,
if I do
huh?
that. What do you mean?
Yeah, do you actually
Or
want
they
to go
might be like, wait, they like me.
Yeah, no, that's the worst. And
Wait.
they're like, okay, well, this actually didn't go well, but okay.
Oh, God. What was that?
That was
for?
it, yeah.
Okay, so I sure hope that we have answered those questions for you, listener. Thank you for
your
submitting.
request.
Okay, so here's another one. It says this one kind of. I feel like we've touched base on this before, but we can reiterate it. Yeah. Okay, so this person says dating out of your ethnic group with OG parents wanting you to stay in the same ethnic group.
I think there's two parts to this. Definitely dating within your ethnic group, and then like I think dating without, and then on top of that, what your parents' expectations are. I guess that's three parts.
You think so? What do you?
Yeah.
You said dating within the ethnic group.
Within and out, and then your.
No,
parents'
I don't think he said without.
I know, but I'm saying like in comparison.
To compare it with like with and without. Okay, yeah, dating within,
Comparing and contrasting.
and then having like I guess the factor of your OG parents are like more like traditional one out.
Let's take the first stab at it.
Me and Sutiana's parents are not that traditional anymore. I would say they used to be really effing strict.
Can I tell you guys what my dad used to say?
What?
When we were kids, it was really bad.
Yeah, they did not want Sutiana to marry out of.
My dad would always say, if you, and we were like in elementary school at this time, my dad would always say, if you marry out of race and I get older, you better not come visit me.
Yeah.
You better stop at the mailbox and that's it. You better not come closer down my driveway. Literally, like he would describe it in depth. And I'm like,
dang. He said like, oh, I'm pretty sure there's worse out there.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of Asians have like inner racism. But that's another topic.
That is another topic for another day. But no, that's true because it ties in with each other.
Yes.
Like it all ties in. But then I will have to say, just to point that out, not just the Asian group, but then I think any ethnic group in general.
I agree.
Like they want to stick to their own.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah. For the most part.
I agree. But so for now, I would say our parents now still not really traditional. I mean, our sister, she just had a hot boyfriend, and I don't think our dad said
No,
anything
I don't
about
think
it.
that. I think it's more accepting in these times.
Accepting now, yeah.
Well, I think it's more of the children grew up, so now they have to accept it, whether they like it or not.
And then Anna is married within, Joe's married within, you married within, I was married within, but no, I'm not.
No, you're not. Yeah. Okay, so are you done? Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So I can speak highly on this as a matter of fact because I'm living it. So thanks for this question.
She's literally the only one that can speak to this.
Yes. I mean, well, yeah.
I mean, we can explain about past experiences, but like current would be Sadie, for sure.
And into deeper context and whatnot. But yes, because I am dating out of an ethnic group, right? And my parents were, I mean, I would say they're pretty traditional too. So of course it wasn't, like I said, I think I've mentioned this in the past episodes before, way back then. But yes, so it is hard. I mean, not gonna lie, it is hard, because it wasn't very like accepting, from the families or the parents and the OGs or whatnot. But then kind of like what Sutiana Roosevelt said it, that now that we're older, now that we're older, they just, they can't really like control like what we do, what we do want to do with our lives now. So it has become more accepting now, especially in the more modern days too, because I've seen a lot of like people around me, like in the Hmong community and the Hispanic community where they go and date different races, and it's becoming a normal thing. It's a new normal now. So, and I personally think it's such a beautiful thing. I love biracial couples, biracial babies, same race baby, whatever. I think it's just a beautiful thing. Love is love.
There's one race, the human race.
The human race. We're all red on the inside? No, our blood. I mean, what is it?
We bleed the same.
We bleed the same. Oh,
can I ask you a question?
We all bleed red. Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Because I think it's not only the parents, but also the relatives, especially if you have very traditional families.
Yes.
How has that impacted you in your current experience dating someone that's not Hmong or not Asian?
Good question.
Because, in the Asian culture, people
talk.
People
be
talk.
like, oh,
they, honey.
Exactly. I think if
How has that
anything,
impacted you?
okay, yeah, that's so true. Because if anything, yes, the parents, they are affected by this, but then more so of
the relatives,
and just like you said, the
gossip.
people,
they gossip
right
so much.
And of course, like as much as we want to say that we don't care about what people say and we want to protect our image, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, when people talk and talk and talk, it's gonna get to you, right?
Yes.
So our OG parents and the way how they grew up, of course, they're going to protect that with all their might and shit, But yeah, it has affected me. I mean, growing up, because I think the last time I dated within race, I was probably like 16. No. 14. I don't know. I was 14.
She was a baby.
I was a little baby whenever I used to date Hmong guys. But nothing against Hmong guys, just, disclosure. But then, yeah, so it was hard. It was hard growing up dating out of race because, it was a lot of like I feel like I was like alone and I was like, nobody was besides y'all, but then like as in like the OGs and like my family wise, like they were not very accepting of it. So it was hard, but you know what? I mean, I stood 10 toes down. I stood on business because if that's what I wanted, that's what I was gonna get that, right? Mm-hmm. So even to today, I'm like, you know what? I mean, since there are a lot more people around me, I have some family members too that they have also married within like outer race, so like it's becoming more normalized. So I've been trying to tell my parents that, hey, it's 2024, as long as if they're
as long as they don't beat you, they take care of you, it's like that should be, they love you, that should be more important versus that like part,
what they look like,
are they Asian?
Yes. And stereotypes, the other day when we had a conversation, you remember with the girls about stereotypes? Mm-hmm. Stereotypes, they're there for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. Because, it's statistics, whatever.
Yes.
However, I, just kept telling my parents that, it doesn't matter what, like, race or whatever people are, like as long as if they are a good person and they truly love me for who I am, then that's all that should matter. So my parents, they have obviously been more accepting of that now, and they're understanding that, and they can see that I'm still thriving. I have a good job, he has a good job, we both have something good going on. So it's just like those factors are all adding up now, and they're realizing that, oh, okay, maybe maybe it's not that bad, you know what I mean? So it's been rough, but we've gone past through all that, and it's good and dandy now. And I really hope that that's an inspiration for all of the other younger people out there with different like ethnic groups that you want to, if you're interested in dating other outside of your ethnicity, yeah, I say go for it. Go for it too. Yeah, I say go. Now, I don't want it to make it sound like it's a what's that word? It's a whenever you have like a weird fetish, it's not a fetish. It's definitely not a fetish. Like I said, I've dated like multiple. That's like just race. Your preference.
My preference. You've dated a Hmong man before.
Been there, done that. And experience. Yeah.
And you just didn't have a good experience, so you just prefer not to date Hmong men.
Period.
Which is fine. It's just preference. Like me, I've dated and been married to a Hmong man before. And I don't think I will ever see myself with a Hmong man again.
I was just going to ask you, do you think you can see yourself with another? No. See? And that's okay, too.
Yeah, that's okay.
And that's okay,
I don't think so. Yeah, not for me. I don't think they're for me.
Like personally, yeah.
Personally, just my own personal preference.
Right.
Is not for
and
me.
Like we said, nothing against y'all. Like I love Hmong men. I love, like I respect all Hmong men and like my uncles and my dad and my brothers and all that. But as a partner, I'm okay. Like I'm good. I would just rather have you as a friend or like a cousin or a brother or whatever.
As long as that person treats me right and is good to me.
Period. So
okay. So one last question I have for you, and then I'll go, I guess. Okay. So my question to you is, what do you say to those people that want to venture out? Any words of wisdom, any advice, I
love that. That's a good question. So I would say if you do want to venture out, go for it. Even if your family is not behind you on this, like, give it a try. This is your life that you're living. And I know we preach that a lot and we say that a lot all the time about your life. You are in control of your life, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, it sucks when you don't have your support system behind you, because I've been there and it feels like, everybody's against you or they're looking down on you.
You against the world.
Yeah, it's you against the world. But hey, you know what? If you find that one person, no matter what color he is or whatever race he is, if he loves you, or she or they, him, her,
gotta cover it all.
Exactly. No matter who they are, if you guys vibe together and y'all find something, just stick to it, because that's the realest shit you'll ever get.
Yep.
I
love that.
Yeah.
Period.
Go for it.
Thank you, Miss Sasa.
You're welcome.
So Tana, your thoughts?
How do you
Can I tell you guys? I don't think I've ever told you guys this, but I used to date a white boy. Did I tell you guys that?
Wait, how long was this ago?
It was like it was before Danny. It was like after. It was like in my single era.
I don't remember.
I thought you meant like as in like when you were a kid. No,
it was like literally right before Danny.
What? Wait,
yeah.
Dating?
So that was my experience. Like I dated an actual white boy, and I was really embarrassed. Like, I didn't tell anybody about him.
Why?
Because I was just embarrassed, I think.
Was that your first out of
Wait,
race
are you gonna leave
relationship?
this part in here?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, that you're embarrassed to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was my experience. I was like, I dated him when I worked at Carl's Jr. And I dated him
you
for
did
like...
work there.
I
Wait,
think I
you knew
remember.
him.
I think I told you about it.
I think I remember.
And I dated him for like probably like a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really, really embarrassed by him.
You were embarrassed by him because of what it was, who he was?
No,
or
I
just like,
think, and I think I myself was confused.
Okay.
Because I was like, I like this person, but they're not the same color as, like, we have different cultures. We're not the same race. How are we gonna relate? So I liked this man, but I was just hesitant, I think.
That's a
and I think I
really
was
good perspective. Scared.
I was scared because I was like, you have someone that's white that has their own culture, right? Are they going to understand me? Are they going to understand my culture, my values, whatever? So we would go on double dates
Really?
so it was me and my coworker, and her and her boyfriend were white, and then we would go on double dates with him, and I was just like,
I feel like you belong
out of place.
Yeah.
I felt out of place, and I almost felt like ashamed. I don't know, because I was like, what if people see me in public? And we tried to go down to the BOK to go ice skating one year, or, like during that time, and I was really, really like scared someone was gonna see me in public, and I was almost like clutching my pearls because I was like, I like this guy, but then I don't want the public to see. You know what I mean? Like I felt really ashamed and almost like, dang, my parents are gonna hate me if they see this, or if people that I know see me out in the street, what are they gonna say?
I think that just comes down to like, do you actually like him, or like, why are you? Then you should be thinking like, why are you there then? Because I think if you actually did like him, those things wouldn't matter. But I think you were at that point just exploring, which is fine.
Yes.
I was, and I was like,
Yeah.
How old were you? Like 8, 7?
no, I was
Probably like 19.
I was probably 18 or
19.
I was probably
think
19.
It was like,
I was experimenting because I was like, all I know is I like him. I think I like him, so I'm gonna try to date him.
There you go.
And I wasn't. It wasn't for me.
It wasn't because you had those feelings of, ooh,
Those
it's like I'm gonna get
feelings?
caught. I'm gonna get caught with this white
Yes,
boy.
it almost felt like, like when you steal candy, like that's how I felt. Like, or when you're
That's
doing
a good
something you're not
analogy.
supposed to do, like that's kind of how I felt. I almost felt like this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
So
Well, that just means it wasn't for you.
honestly, Valerie brought a good point about you having those feelings. Maybe it wasn't it, but then at the same time, you
was
mentioned that you were exploring,
Yeah.
right? So when I first dated my ex back then, obviously he was out of race. I remember I had the exact same feeling because it was like our first-ish time out in public, right, at the state fair, and we were holding hands, and then I ran into one of my Hmong friends and her husband or her boyfriend at the time, and I was like, I quickly let go. And which the difference between that is that I let go, but then as soon as I let go, I felt horrible, and I hurt his feelings. And I'm like, dang, like I was contemplating, like I felt so bad, even because I didn't want them to see me with like, a different outer race, just because it was the norm for us growing up, right? So I was scared. I had the scared feeling, but as soon as I did that, I felt remorseful that I'm like, oh shoot, I just hurt my partner's feelings like so bad. So then like I just like didn't know what to do, and then like, so I think that's the difference when you feel like you knew, maybe, but at the same time, I don't know, who knows, maybe you were in the early stage of like just like
and I honestly think it's how we grew up as well.
Oh, 100%.
Because being around, always getting told, I don't want your date out of race, and then trying that, it's almost like, am I gonna get in trouble?
Almost like a taboo for us.
Yes. And so I think that's kind of like what's going through mine is like, am I gonna get in trouble for doing this?
Yeah.
But can I tell you guys something else?
Yes.
On the flip side, I did see someone that we know when I used to work at the courthouse that came in with a black man, and she's Hmong, and she came in with a black man, and I'm pretty sure that they're dating or they're a thing, and I saw them holding hands, but she didn't know that, and so they walked in, and then like I saw her down the hallway, and so I went up to her because I was just like, hey, like what's up, and she like quickly was just like, oh hey, I'm just here with my friend, but I was like, in my head I'm like, why is that,
girl,
like,
you better wear it proud, girl,
and maybe she was just experimenting or exploring too, but it's like,
or maybe she just don't want nobody to know her business.
That's true.
That too. So I think it's like, I don't know, it's almost like when you do things that are not the norm in the cultures,
within your culture,
it will make you feel a little
uncomfortable, guilty, if you will.
Guilty.
And it's so bad. And I want to add on to what you were saying, but then I want the listeners to hear this. Like, don't hold on to these guilty feelings, because it's gonna eat you alive. Like, at the end of the day, you got to do what you feel like you want, and if it makes you feel happy and good, and show it off. It will show it off. Or if you do want to protect the piece of it too, then that's fine. But then at the same time, I mean, my experiences were, you know, like, I felt slightly guilty, and I was ashamed, you know, essentially ashamed. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't care who sees me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. And I'm like, you can talk all your talk, but I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm the one that's happy. Like, I take Brian to our Hmong New Year and everything, and you know, I show him proudly. So,
and I think it comes down to like what Valerie said. Do you actually like them like this?
Yes.
Or are you just exploring? I think that definitely plays a big role, because if you're just exploring, then yes, you will get the feeling like, oh, what if we get caught? What if someone sees us? But then if you actually really truly like them, you're like, I don't give a F. Like, I like this man, I like this girl, whatever. Like, they're my partner, and I don't care who sees.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely plays a big role.
Really, really good point.
I know. Wow. I'm like, I have like this way, that way, that way. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. I didn't know about you and that guy.
Yeah, we probably. I mean, we weren't like we were exclusive for like a couple months, but I think I was very like hot and cold because I didn't know
how to feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Good point. Thanks for the transparency.
Yeah, never dated out of race after that.
Married to a Hmong man.
And I'm gonna say, okay, being Hmong, dating Hmong and marrying Hmong is the easy way out. All right, I'm gonna just say it. It's the easy. It's the easy way out, and I think that's with a lot of cultures as well. Is it's easier to stick together than to be brave and do something that's considered taboo or out of the norm. So even though it shouldn't be, it's because that's just how it is.
Well, I think there's a lot of benefits and stuff to come behind dating and marrying,
and the comfortability of you already knowing the culture. You already know, like, it's not nothing new. Like, you know the like expectations and you know, like, whenever you go to someone's house, like, you know how to be polite, like certain things.
You just know all of the the social stuff within the social norms within your culture. The
quiet rules.
Yeah, and you know, and nothing's wrong with that. Like, like we said, preference. So you do what you got to do. And I will say, if you, for me personally, dating out of, you know, race too, it is a lot harder. It's a lot of work we got to put in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Brian's gonna have to learn my culture's way. I'm gonna have to learn his culture's way. So it's a lot. But the beauty behind it is that of the hardships, there's beauty in the struggle, as always. But then the beauty behind it is that we are learning so much about each other, and we can, you know, coexist within each other, and we appreciate each other's cultures and traditions. So it's like a really nice blend.
Do you know what
hard at first, though?
You know what that is? It reminds me of like interracial couples are literally healing the world one couple at a time, because you know
interracial couples are getting rid of racism.
Yes, it's literally like a ripple effect. Because your child is going to be mixed, and then you know,
but then
goes on and so forth, so on and so forth.
But speaking of that, like, there's also, that's another topic too, but just slightly to dabble on it. There's a lot of mixed children that grow up with identity struggles, and that's something that obviously I'm going to instill in my children in the future, that it's a beautiful thing. Embrace where, like, both of your cultures.
You have two worlds.
I don't know. I think like, just going back to the topic, like, if you want to explore out of race, I would say, especially if you're not married yet and you're in your single era, just literally,
as long as that man or woman don't beat you and treat you right.
It's just a skin color. It's just a different culture. Like, it's not like, especially if you're Hmong or Asian, I feel like it's been instilled in us, like, you cannot date out of race. If you do that, you know, you're a disgrace.
Very frowned upon. But it's
like, you're an adult. Make your decision. Go test the waters. Like,
go for it.
Who cares?
That's what life is about, to try new things, right?
Exactly.
So, as you should, especially if
I always say, taste the rainbow. Like, what I'm just saying, like, it doesn't hurt to taste the rainbow. The only time you're gonna regret is when you're married and comfortable and you're like, I should have done this, or I should have explored. You regret. So just do things where you're not gonna regret when you get older, and you know you're married and you're settled, and you're like, I can't do that anymore.
Now you can't anymore.
Yes.
Because that's true. That's a really, really good advice coming from a married woman. I love it.
Taste the rainbow. Take my advice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on. Dang, that got real deep. Okay, so we were talking about that. Okay, so did we talk about OG parents on that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what they would say. So that's that. The next one is modern dating. So all these three male that submitted request, it all has to do with dating, and they're all completely three different people. So I thought that was just so strange.
Like, it's the same type of topic.
Coincidence that it all kind of connects. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So modern dating, okay, especially finding someone at the Hmong New Year, seems different than 10 years ago. Okay, so modern dating in general.
Let's just say dating in general, modern dating.
Okay, modern dating.
Okay.
Modern dating. Okay, can we like give a background story to how courting at the New Year's is
Used
for
to be.
people that aren't Hmong?
That's right. That's a good one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
your floor.
so just a quick recap for those that are not of the Hmong culture or the Hmong background. Courting at the New Year celebration has kind of always been the big thing,
Right.
where you wear your traditional clothes, the girl or guys wear their traditional clothes, and then you ball toss, and that's when you would normally court them, is while you're ball tossing, or if you see someone that you like while you're exploring the stores or stalls or vendors, you would go up to them, talk to them, kind of ask their name, where they're from,
Start
their age, all that stuff.
conversation.
And that's kind of the culture that it's always been. So I think they're talking about how that used to be the way people courted at the New Year's versus in this modern day age where they really don't do that anymore.
Chivalry is dead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, I mean, Hmong chivalry. Traditional,
Yes,
authentic
yes.
chivalry.
Oh, thanks for that little background.
Yeah, so that's kind of how courting used to work during the New Year's.
Okay, so before we start the comparing into like the Hmong New Year specifically, let's, like you said, let's just talk about modern dating in general.
Since you're the most experienced.
Yes.
Modern dating in general, I would say is a lot harder than it was back then. You
think so?
Yeah.
What makes it hard in this day and age? Since you're in the
I think
Dating
the realm right now.
I think like nowadays people just don't go up to other people and be like, hey, you know, like you caught my eye, I would love to like take you on a date, you know, something like that. People don't do that like versus back then.
Like in person?
Yeah, a lot of dating apps now, or just like meeting people where you work, which is like a big no-no for me. Like never ever
Hey,
Take her advice.
honestly, that could be another topic too, to be honest.
yeah. But like I would say like dating apps and then meeting people at work, I think is the only things, or unless you have like extracurricular activities that you do, like
Into people and stuff.
but usually it's like within like the same groups, right? And it's not usually like, oh, you just go somewhere and
Meet a stranger.
meet a stranger.
So I have a question for you. Do you think that in this modern dating realm, do you think that there's a lot less social in-person interaction because of the dating apps? And
I would say yes, not just because of dating apps too, but dating apps and social media. I think everyone is just more attached to their phone now versus like
True.
back then. Not everybody was walking around like just checking on their phone. Like nowadays, when you go somewhere and you stop, like let's say you guys are all crossing the street and you stop at the stoplight. What's the first thing everyone's gonna do? Take their phone out and look at something, even though it's nothing that they're looking at. They have to take their phone out. Like you guys can't just stand there and just stand and wait for the light to turn green. Like everybody's gonna grab their phone out just to look at the phone.
I think it's just become such a like a norm
Second
and like
nature.
a second nature
Yeah.
too, like in quite literally an addiction, you know. So it's like that's just like normal for them, like it's muscle memory. They do that.
Yes.
That and or I feel like people also do that to avoid
having
socializing.
conversations.
I do that.
See?
I do that. Like if I am in a social setting that I know, especially like in an elevator or something, I'm like on my phone.
Right.
And even if I'm not doing anything, I'm like, I just pull it up because I don't want to talk. I don't want to interact.
I think like these days, like people just don't want to socialize, or not because they don't want to. I think there's just less socializing than back then.
That's true.
So would you say that's why I would say I don't think I would survive in this modern day dating.
Yeah.
Like I just think that it's too much, like you said, about like relying too much on your phone or communicating via social media apps or whatever.
Yeah, I think for me, when I did try the dating apps for a while,
I was gonna ask you about that.
it was fun just to like keep you busy and like pass time. But realistically, I'm like, I don't know if I would have found anything sustainable on that.
Like
and
serious
I was
relationships.
wondering.
And
Yeah.
some people have, which is fine, but me personally, I'm the type of person that I have to meet them in person and hang out with them in person, or like be like a friend of a friend that like, oh, I think you and this person will get along well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's like for me personally.
That's also something that I feel like used to be more like
Common.
back then. Whenever you a friend of a friend.
I have a friend that I think y'all should get along.
Dude,
with.
that was literally our era.
Really?
Like,
I swear.
Like, oh my god, I think you'd be perfect with this person. Like, let me give you guys a number.
Being like the middleman to hook up people and stuff. And
Yes.
yeah, that's actually, I think it's so cute. I think it's funny. I like that. But I don't really see that a lot anymore
Me either.
now.
Or could it be that devil's avocado that we're just in relationships and that we don't see what's actually going on? Because
right.
Val is just one experience. Maybe there are people that actually go out there and do that.
And they do.
And I really I personally think that it comes down to like having a third space. Have you heard the theory about having like a third space? So it's like people go to work, home, and that's it. But there used to be third spaces, like bowling alleys where people get together. It's like not
like
a lot of
extra
that.
things, just not just work.
Yeah, places where people can socialize. So I think that kind of comes between the modern dating. Like
That's
you don't
weird.
have places where you can just go to
Yes.
hang out or go to meet new people at the arcade or like
Right.
like that's what people used to do. Like
Right.
there's not a lot of that anymore.
And then I think a factor for that to add to that is because of how crazy technology is now. Like you said, with the dating apps, everything is on the tips of your fingers, right? Tips of your fingertips.
Tips of your fingers.
Yeah. So like you said, with the dating apps, like a lot of people are just more used to that, and it's easy, right? It's really easy. And that's why I was going to ask you earlier about that, since you have been on the dating apps, like you already answered that, but you said that you did it just for fun. Like,
Yeah, because actually a lot of people I know that when they do use the dating apps, they like
Successful.
download it because they're bored, and then it's just like a fun game.
like
It's
game,
just like
literally.
a fun game. Like you swipe, like me and my friends, we would be on FaceTime all together, and I'd be sharing my screen with them, and we would go through it together. Like,
remember one
just
time
like
when
a
we did
fun
that.
game. Yeah.
That is crazy.
And then it's like,
That's
okay,
insane.
and then
That's
it's like,
fine.
okay, I actually don't want to talk to any of these people, and then I would delete it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm getting bored again, I'm going to re-download it. Like, I do that. Like, a lot of my other friends that I know that are single, that does that
Just
too.
yeah.
And it's just like, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can take it that serious.
Right. I was
And I
gonna
don't
say-
know.
it's literally like a game.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it'd be sustainable to find anything on that.
But however, like you said, there are people out there that they've found something from dating apps, and they've made they've made it something sustainable, and they've are even married till today.
was-
So it's
I can't remember who it was, but I talked to somebody. Oh, I know who it is. Ninako. So Ninako is a Hmong American rapper. Her and her boyfriend actually met on
through
Cupid. Okay Cupid or something like that.
that a dating
One
app?
of those like OG dating websites.
What? Really?
Yes. And I'm like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, they met on an actual like dating website. So I think that's when dating websites were like big. So I definitely think the evolution of technology
Yes.
has an impact on
Impacted.
dating in this current day and age. And going back to the New Year's question, I think that also has to play in with the New Year's.
Yes.
Because back then, people were just ball tossing and focusing on
What's in front of
then
you?
and there.
what's in front of them. Ball
Yes.
tossing, on the vendors, on the actual people, on trying to socialize. But now, even when you go to the New Year's, people are on their phones recording, taking pictures,
Or like
And
setting
or-
up like a meetup already instead of like
Yes.
going there.
Yes. I was just gonna
so
say
they're like,
that.
okay, we're gonna meet my friends at this spot, and they don't have a lot of ball tossing no more. Like,
I know, it's so sad.
They
It's
don't
only
do a lot of-
OGs or little kids.
yeah, they don't do a lot of like in-person interaction. And again, I think it's just with the times, people just
Wait, speaking of that, can I tell you
Don't
something
do
real
that.
quickly? But don't put it in the in here.
no, just tell me. I'm gonna keep it.
No, bitch.
I'm gonna bleep
so,
some parts.
long as okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna bleep some
A long
parts.
time ago, whenever I went to the Fresno New Year, right, with my family, well, with my cousins and all, we met somebody that we know now back then, and we ball tossed with
Wait,
them.
what's their name? I'm gonna bleep it out.
We even took pictures with them and everything. They were so tall and shit. They took pictures with us and everything. And I was like, wait, you're from Oklahoma? I was like, wait, I think I know you. They're like, oh, I do know you. I was like, you're they're like, but they took ball toss with me and my cousins, and they were like,
did you live in Oklahoma at the time?
yeah, but then I went back to go visit. Yes, and I was like, fucking, this is so weird. I think I want to see it. I think I still have the pictures and like the not digital. There was a
Polaroid.
huh?
Polaroid.
Not Polaroid.
Film?
Film. Yeah, film. And
Ew.
so they were like flirting with us, and I'm like, this feels weird because I feel like they're older. They were fucking much older than us little ass kids, And I was like,
How old are you?
how old was I? I was probably like 15, 16.
I think they're like 4 or 5 years older, so they're
4 or 5 years. They were and they were like it was just fucking awkward. Anyway, but yeah. Say something about so whenever they do meet each other at the Hmong New Year's now, with the resource of the phone and the technology nowadays, like you said, they either meet up or if their friend were to say, hey, they already have
Itinerary.
itinerary, and they already have an idea of what you look like because they've looked through your socials and they already know
What your outfit is.
Yes, and they're gonna be like, okay, so this girl looks like this. I'm gonna go specifically and go look for this girl rather than letting it happen just naturally, like you said, bumping into people in real life.
But I say that if you are a man trying to court, it doesn't matter what setting you're in, just be be a man, grow some balls, go talk to somebody. Hey,
Go up to them.
Hey, you're beautiful. Can I take you out? And I think that will make you stand out, especially if you
But
are
not
man.
like, don't be rude catcalling.
No, don't
That's
do that.
A different fucking
And I think
story.
Give me an example.
I think a woman can do it too.
Catcalling?
Yeah, give me an example. Like rude.
Like
catcalling.
rude catcalling?
Like, hey, girl.
Like, hey, little shawty, what's up? You got that fat ass on you.
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
no.
Ew, that's gross.
But I
Like-
think
like
that girls
no.
can also ask
Oh.
guys as well.
Absolutely.
Just be yourself. Like, don't be shy. I feel like when you are shy, you literally are preventing yourself.
You shy,
from
you
doing that
die.
already.
Yes.
So literally, just go be like,
You're lost.
hey, I'm interested. I really
Like,
think
hey,
you're
you look
cute.
good.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you look
look
so-
good. I think we should definitely go out on a date or something like that.
I
or
encourage
something-
that.
Or like, hey, can I get your number? Like, I really think like I'm interested in you, or whatever the case may be. Like, that will make you stand out 10 times more than DMing someone on social media.
Yes, because DMing it can be so easy, but when you actually go up to someone, it shows that you really do. You got
Wow,
balls.
in this day and age, he got up and talked to me.
And not just slid in the DMs.
Yes.
But then honestly, I want to give shout outs to the girls that have been, they have the courage to go up to guys and, courting the guys instead. Like that's respect right there. I like that.
Yeah.
If I were, I mean, not saying I want to be single, but if I were single, like in this day and age, that's
do
something
that.
I would definitely
I know.
do now that I'm more like, courageous and now that I'm just a lot older. That's just my personality, to make it cool and make it casual and fun instead of intimidating, right? Yeah.
I think age has definitely a big part to play too,
Yes.
especially if you're our age, late 20s, early 30s.
I
Come
agree.
on, get
I
up and do
agree.
it. Get up.
You
and
gotta
do
do it. You
There's
gotta do it.
literally no excuse.
Yes, exactly.
What do you got to lose? Your ego? Like, okay,
Yeah.
it'll humanize you a little bit
What's-
more. Like,
Yes, it'll humble
sorry.
you.
like that's literally all you have to lose.
What's the worst that can happen if they say no or if they turn you down? Okay, all right, just
On to
walk
the
away.
next.
There you go. It's a Hmong New Year's. It's a freaking like all you can eat buffet with Hmong people. And
Ew,
Oh my
no, I'm talking about
Like,
catcalling. I'm not. I don't mean it like literally. I mean as in like.
There's like a lot of people.
There's a lot of fishes in the
a lot of
sea.
fish in the
a lot of
sea.
options.
That's what she meant.
And not just Hmong people anymore, because now it has become more diverse. So obviously any
Yes.
type of people, you know what I'm saying?
There's
Just saying
a lot
in general, like there's so many people all in one set,
Yes,
in
like,
one
it's
spot for you to
perfect.
meet people. So just go
It's
put
the-
yourself out there.
And honestly,
yourself
if you don't
out
know them, what's the worst that can happen? Like, you're never gonna see them again. And
Yes.
even if you do, later on down the road, you're gonna laugh about it.
You're
Like,
gonna laugh about
oh my
it.
god, like I know you.
There's a lot of situations now that me and my aunt can look back and we're like cringe, or we laugh. Like we cringe, but we laugh because we're like, wow, I can't believe we did that the Hmong New Year's, and hanging out with like random group of guys or other girls and like just doing like dumb stuff, But then now we grow up and we like, okay, that was fun. It was funny and
Yeah.
cringe. There was one whenever we first moved to Oklahoma and went to the Oklahoma New Year when it was back at the little 31st memorial place indoors. There was these two old, they seem a little bit older, but kind of like gangster looking, and they came up to me and my cousin Paku, and they said they were just like I guess courting us or talking to us, and they're like, "Where are you guys from?" And I was like, "Oh, we're from California." And he stood out to me because he was hilarious. He wasn't my type, but he was hilarious. He said, "Oh, California girls are hard to forget." Like the Katy Perry song. And I was like, I busted out laughing. I was like, oh my god, that was freaking hilarious.
and you remember it to this day.
I remember till this day. This was probably like maybe 20 years ago.
See?
I was like, okay, that was hilarious. Like I like humor. Like that was a really good little
So he
pickup
stuck out.
line. Yeah.
So he stuck out. So he was like, "See, I remember it, even
I remember.
this many years later."
I think for all of us, as long as the guy is funny.
Dude, we
Yes.
gotta have humor. Like we were just talking about this the other day with
Dude,
the
my
girls.
husband is like a big jokester. Like,
I know he is.
literally,
Yeah.
you have to be funny.
You have to be funny. You gotta have some kind of humor in there.
A sense of humor. Come on, like.
Yes.
I don't want to be with that for the rest of my life. Come on. The third and last thing is someone asked us to talk about what's happening in the Sacramento New Year.
Minnesota. Oh no, Sacramento. Sacramento.
So all I know is something about the dance competition that there has been a lot of past controversy regarding the judges of these dance competitions. And if you're not Hmong, these are huge dance competitions that happen during the New Year celebration, and there's a lot of dance groups that practice hours and hours, months and months just for these dance competitions. So basically
$1,000 prizes. It's like a big whole
Outfits.
organization.
A lot's on the line. A lot is on the line.
So basically what happened is they have a lot of bad controversial history about these judges that judge these dance competitions. And this last one in Sacramento, I guess they tried to cancel the dance competition for some specific reason. And also, so basically they tried to cancel it last minute, even though all the dancers have already been practicing.
Like the entire dance competition?
Yes, because there wasn't enough time because all the OGs kept talking. Which, if you're not familiar with the Hmong tradition culture, the OGs always tend to do a lot of long overran speeches before the
unnecessary.
activities are supposed to start. And
Yes.
it's normally not supposed to go long, but they talk a lot. And so that happened, and so they were almost going to cancel it. And then also one or a few of the judges were experienced with the dance groups, so they were already biased.
Oh,
so that's kind of the gist.
And I think on top of that, the stage was like all effed up, and there was like nails sticking out.
Yeah, and it was like
uneven.
the stages are not always covered, and it's always hot, like on the black stages. So it's just a lot of crap that's happening.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
Shoot.
I think it's like I think if it's such a big organization that they need to be more organized, because especially in the dance part for all New Year's period, it's like a big part where a lot of the money comes in, because to even register you have to pay a lot of money, and then like the payout for the winners, that's a lot of money too, and then the amount of money that goes into outfits, hairs, travel, all of that is a lot of money. So I mean, I think it's a big part of the New Year, so they definitely should put more time and effort into it.
What do you think, Sadie?
I agree with that 100%. Like, it's a lot that these dancers and competitors have to put into this. They, like you say, they practice for years and months just to go look forward to this competition day. And like you said, it's a huge, huge part of the, Hmong New Year tradition just in general, right? Like, they put on a show, they showcase like the different dances and beautiful clothes and all that. And it also attracts a lot of people to come and watch, right?
The dance competition.
To watch the dance competitions, besides the pageant, if they do have one, right? So that's I think that's just very, very unprofessional. Like, it was very unprofessional. They should have done better. They should be ashamed. And I'm saying this with all my chest because, man, like, those dancers, a lot of them travel from like North Carolina, Minnesota, right?
Far states.
Far states just to come and, compete. And that's just not fair in my eyes. And I for the Hmong OGs, like, they got to do better. Yeah, like, you got to run on.
And I think the bad part about that too is a lot of OGs that are in these higher positions, they like to be in these positions just because it's a high position, not because they actually care about whatever it is they're leading or in control of. They just like being in a leader position. Refer to the episode we have with Pia.
Yes. Period. I have a couple things to say about this whole situation. Number one, I've been on the inside. I know what goes on. I don't know if every state is like Oklahoma, but I know that there's so all I'm saying is, number one, every organization that runs New Year's needs to be a actual nonprofit that brings in monies. Okay, if you bring in monies at all, I don't care about the expense of everything else. If you bring in money, if you're an actual nonprofit, you need to be paying these people that are doing these roles as dance coordinator, as MC, as whatever. They cannot be volunteers. You have to have people that are expertise in these fields or have experience doing these things. If you get new people every single year for the New Year's and they're just volunteering, they're not going to be 110% in these positions. They're not going to give it their all. Okay, because they don't even have experience. And if they don't have experience, they don't care. Or even if they do have experience and they're just volunteering, they're not going to care unless you pay them. Yeah. So pay these people that are doing these roles at the New Year's, and maybe, just maybe, they will actually give a shit. Number two, you need to actually be on time when you're doing these dance competitions or events in general, because people do not have time to wait around for speeches. That's all across the board for all Hmong events. Okay. And that's the same shit I see time and time again. And then number three, if you don't know how to get experts for these people or for these roles, you need to go outside and outsource. Talk to somebody that can do it, because that's the only way that you're actually going to get people who care to do these things. And like, I don't know why it's so hard for these organizations like 30, 40 years later in America that they're still continuing to do the same problems, the same issues. Like, get your crap together. You guys are all literally pocketing money and asking volunteers to come work for you for free. And that is BS. Period. Mic drop. That's literally how I feel, and I think that's all across the board.
100%. And we see it time and time over and again, all the time. Yes. Dang, I didn't even think about that volunteer part. That's facts, though. But they're volunteer. They're doing it for free. Of course, they're not going to put someone
somewhere is getting paid, and I say that with my chest.
That money is going to someone's pockets.
I say that with my chest.
Not the ones that are doing the dirty work.
I understand there's expenses. I understand that there's costs. I understand that. But someone somewhere is getting paid up higher than me. So why am I, as a volunteer, going to do 150, 100 million% when y'all are getting paid? They make zero.
It's like that movie. You guys are getting paid?
No, literally.
Wait for the Millers. Yes.
So do that. Show the people that are working that you actually care and pay them.
Say it
Period.
louder. Really,
All right.
As always, we upload a new episode every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us at 116th Hotline right here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And make sure you comment, like, subscribe our YouTube channel. Feel free to follow us on our socials. And also, if you have any topic requests, feel free to send us a DM, message us anytime. You don't have to wait for us to post the polls. You can just send us anytime if you're itching for
what's on your mind.
A response from us. Just let us know.
Yay. Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.